After all that, we're going to speak very briefly. We're often asked, you know, how did you do all this in 4 years? You know, we went from, this is Jim's line to me today, and it's true, $4 million to $4 billion in 4 years' time, 444. It's the Jim Bouchard formula. How did we do it? We did it because we had an unbelievable family foundation, and quite frankly, because we went to Hinsdale Central. And Jim and I are very big believers of this. The world is a very tough place out there, you know. And when you come out ready, anything can happen. And you recognize opportunity, which our principal was talking about before. And we were able to grasp those things really because of our experience at Hinsdale Central. I went to the University of Chicago later on. It was a cakewalk compared to the competition we had in high school. I went to Wall Street for 20 years. That was a cakewalk, and it was full of sharks everywhere. Nothing was as tough as Hinsdale Central. Our coaches and our teachers really made us. And so giving back is very important. I went to the pep rally today, and quite frankly, I was blown away. The high school, as I toured it, looks better than it did, and younger and newer than it did when we went to high school. There was a couple of thousand kids in that gymnasium for the pep rally, and I said, gosh, this is even better than I thought. You know, you hear today kids are more advanced at these young ages today. They're like adults were back instead of when we were kids. Well, that's a bunch of baloney. Look, you know, I started at high school. I graduated in '71. My freshman year, the first thing I did was watch John Kinsella on TV win his silver medal in the Olympics. By my sophomore year, Woodstock was happening. Half our high school was hearing for the first time about marijuana, and most of us tried it because we had to figure out the hubbub, right? By my third year in high school, Vietnam was at its peak, right? And by my fourth year, I was just trying to sort out what the heck is going on out there in the world. Haight-Ashbury was more famous than Wall Street, right? Well, how did I get through all that? You know, those 4 years I was a kid, not an adult. I looked out there today, and all those kids were beautiful, fresh, well-dressed, pep that we didn't even have when we were in high school. And I said, holy cow, these kids are all just kids. These 4 years are the most important years of your life in your development. If you come through it, you see all the good, you see all the bad, you start making decisions for the first time, your parents are still looking out for you. And when you go off to college, you got to start making decisions. You know? So those 4 years are the most important years, in my estimation, in the development of a child. And so I guess I'd like to finish by saying, you know, we try to give back to the high school at every opportunity. It really made us, and it makes the community. The high school is the most important building in our town. Its teachers and its staff are the most important employees in our town. And I just encourage everybody, let's all give back as much as we can. Finally, my wife Melissa, who's everything for me, and 5 of my 6 kids are sitting here tonight. I want to thank you, and my mom who started it all. So thank you very much. I have to thank my brother, who's the smarter and the better looking Bouchard.
I don't know about that, but this is truly a great honor for myself and for our family. All of us carry a badge of honor. Being part of Hinsdale and being part of Hinsdale Central is a badge of honor and responsibility that we all carry. That school has meant more to me and has developed me as a person than I can ever tell you or even explain in words. Everything about Hinsdale from a childhood, from the pictures that were up here, you know, brought tears to my eyes. Because my mother and father, I had the most wonderful childhood in the world. My brothers and sisters who've been there for me every day of my life, I had the best childhood in the world playing with those people. I went to Hinsdale Central, and I had my brother Rick and Craig and all these super athletes above me. And I happened to run into Jim Kozel, my freshman baseball coach, my freshman football coach, and eventually be my sophomore baseball and football coach. I didn't play Falcon football, and I wanted to go out for football and try it. And I remember A and B, you know, the A and B freshman team. I'm going, okay, I'm going to be on the B team. I'm going to work my way up to the A team. And that first thing when they went up on the board and I made the A team, and coach pulled me aside and he says, Jim, I look for good athletes and I put them in strategic spots. And he goes, you're going to be a good football player. And he had that confidence in me from day one. He was my freshman biology teacher and had confidence in me in academics. Those first week, the first 10 days of my year, freshman year at Hinsdale Central, set me on a great course of somebody that trusted me and saw some ability in me and gave me direction despite legacy of my older brothers, my father and my mother. And from there, he handed me off my junior and senior year to Gene Strode, and who became an inspiration to me, and only through positive reinforcement turned me into a great athlete and a great human being. And I learned the discipline and the integrity and loyalty that is what makes Hinsdale today and why we're all here. My father died my senior year when I was in high school, and Gene stepped in as a pseudo father for me that I could go to and talk to through some very difficult times. Hinsdale was great to me. From there, I met my wife when I was 15 years old. We started dating our juniors year in summer. 22 years later, we've been married. I found the love of my life at Hinsdale Central. From there, we had our children here in Hinsdale. We bought our first house in Hinsdale. Our children are from Hinsdale. Unfortunately, we live in Pittsburgh. We love it. But I can guarantee you, when I travel the world, and I've traveled all over the world like Craig, and people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Hinsdale. And this community has been good to me and our family. It's what makes us all great, why we're all here. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of it. I want to thank my mom and my dad for bringing us to Hinsdale when I was 4 years old. And it changed the whole destiny of my life. Thank you.